Good morning. Welcome to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, welcoming you and greeting you on this somewhat overcast Tuesday, April 11, 2023. I hope you are all well, healthy, and prepared to meet another day of work, of activities, and that you are in the top of health. And if you are struggling, I pray that God will give you a break, will give you refreshing and provision. Okay, so we have a double feature again today, and it will be concerning food security and immigration, because may mga tumatawag po, sumusulat, nagtatanong, Kuya Cito, ba't ganito ang system sa Pilipinas? Okay, but before that, I just want to say happy birthday to Mr. John Lesaca, my good and faithful friend. Pareho na lang tayong tumatanda, pero mas maputi ang buhok mo. Okay. And welcome to my sister, Malu Beltran, who is visiting from New Zealand and checking on friends, family, and physicians. Ganyan na yung lifestyle ng mga Filipinos staying abroad or working abroad. They work there, but they come home to get their second opinion in the Philippines. Okay, so let's go to our daily starter today. But before that, of course, I have to say thank you, express our gratitude to all our viewers. Okay, thank you first to the Cignal subscribers for being subscribers and watching One News and of course Agenda. Thank you also for those of you who watch us via Facebook and YouTube, especially those who live abroad or who are doing different work shifts and only get to watch us via Facebook, YouTube, or on our replays in the afternoon. Maraming salamat po. And of course, thank you PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Let's go to our daily starter. Medyo malakas ang dating, okay? The arrive is strong, okay? For today's daily starter, we go to Alex Hormozi. He is a motivational speaker and coach. And Gambi, if you would, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, like saying, I am good, I am guapo, I am blessed, I am this, I am that, okay? I'm strong, I am creative. But by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Okay, naisip ko lang nga kanina. There are people who have claims, who make statements, who are saying, I am rich, I am blessed, etc. Pero walang pera sa bangko, okay? Or people who will say, I am, related to our topic later, there are people who say they are magbababoy, pero they don't know anything about pagbababoy because they have people doing it for themselves, for them, okay? Kumbaga, I cannot claim to be a breeder of chickens, roosters, or a game fowl breeder or free-range breeder if I don't know anything about hatchery, about breeding lines, about feeding, etc., which medyo kinarir ko na po. Okay, so remember what Alex Hormozi said, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. Yung mga pampalakas loob, okay yan, pero hanggang dyan na lang yan. But by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star today, April 11, Tuesday, 2023. And the headline goes, EDCA cites, okay, not for offensive actions, BBM. Biggest ever balikatan begins today. The 4 new sites within the Philippine military base made accessible to U.S. forces under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement will not be used for offensive operations, President Marcos said yesterday. The president made the remarks when asked to comment on China's recent pronouncement that the designation of new EDCA locations would provoke tensions in the region. Okay, so according to the president, and I quote, now, China's reaction perhaps was not surprising because they are worried, but we will not allow the Philippines, we will not allow our bases to be used for any offensive action. This is only to help the Philippines when the Philippines needs help. Ayan po. Okay, to the other news. Philippine National Police reports 72 dead from drowning during Semana break. According to reports gathered or sent in by their different regions, the Philippine PNP recorded 72 dead from drowning. Marami pong nalunod, a number of them lasing, drunk, and others were in capsized bangkas, etc., etc. So mag-aral po tayong lumangoy, and when traveling on watercrafts, put on a life vest because it could make a difference. Meanwhile, 10 ranking cops told go on leave over 6.7 billion shabu. Okay. Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhar Abalos yesterday ordered 10 ranking officials of the PNP to take a leave of absence or face suspension amid their alleged involvement in the cover-up on the 6.7 billion worth of shabu seized from now dismissed Police Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo in 2022. Marami-rami po yun, some general, some full colonel, etc. na pinag-leave subject to, they are being investigated. Baka mag-react kayo dyan. Sabi, no, leave lang, may involvement, but leave lang. Hindi po, pinag-leave kasi may kailangang imbestigahan yung kanilang mga department para hindi, so they cannot manipulate or influence the outcome of the investigation. The big photo on the front page of the Philippine Star is all about the celebration, commemoration of the Araw ng Kagitingan, Day of Valor. President Marcos answers questions from Malacanang Press Corps at Mount Samat National Shrine in Pilar, Bataan during the commemoration of the 81st Araw ng Kagitingan yesterday. The Dambana ng Kagitingan was completed on April 14, 1966. Okay, present were officials of the Armed Forces, Philippine Armed Forces, the Japanese ambassador, and the U.S. Embassy Chargé d'Affaires. Okay. At the same event, President Marcos stated seeks fixing of pension system for war veterans. Along with the men in uniform, okay, the President now wants to fix our pension system for war veterans because the President believes if we don't do anything about it now, the money will run out and there will be nothing left or available for veterans. Okay. Meanwhile, gasoline prices went up by 2 pesos 60 centavos and diesel by 1 peso 70 centavos. Mwah! That's why I loaded yesterday, the other day, Easter Sunday, nagkarga na po tayo because we expected that. That is historical data. Nangyayari lagi yan. Meanwhile, ACT proposes gradual, return to summer school break. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers has proposed the adoption of 185 class days per school year to gradually revert to summer scheduled school break. Ayan kasi, masyadong maraming nakikialam ang napeperwisyo magulang at kabataan. Meanwhile, Senate to give Teves chance to be heard. According to Senator Bato de la Rosa, suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. will be given the chance to be heard if he attends the public hearing of the Senate Committee on Public Order on his alleged involvement in high-profile murder cases in the provinces. Medyo may konting confusion dito because in one point they say the session or the hearing is about private armies and firearms, but ito parang it is about the involvement of the Congressman Teves, and the suggestion is Zoom laang daw. Okay, anyway, photo at the bottom of the front page, a child in a Spider-Man costume joins Moriones Centurions as they pose for tourists in Boac, Marinduque over the weekend. Okay, so that about wraps up our news, our front page for the Philippine Star. Please get a copy, a physical copy, or go online and get a subscription of the Philippine Star. There's so much that we all need to keep updated with. Okay, and we will go now to our first guest. But before I introduce him, allow me to just set it up. Latest data from the Bureau of Animal Industry, medyo freak out state na po kasi every week na lang may lumalabas na pang headline balita that our African Swine Fever has rampaged the country. It is in all regions except Metro Manila, and there are 54 provinces and 460 municipalities with active cases, etc., etc. And then I got a message yesterday from hog raisers who said, Kuya, ang taas ng presyo ng baboy. The prices of pork is so high, but it is not benefiting hog raisers. Okay? Ang nangyayari, ang kumikita raw po, biyahero at tindero sa palengke. So some of them are already talking about getting out of hog racing because of that situation. And of course, the existing persistent threat of ASF. So, Gab, if you would, please introduce our first guest this morning.
Engineer Rosendo So is the president of the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG. He is also the chairman of Abono Party List.
Chairman, good morning. Welcome back.
Morning. Magandang umaga.
Okay, alam mo na pag-uusapan natin, favorite subject matter natin, African Swine Fever and the Bureau of Animal Industry. Ano ba sa tingin mo? Because I know you have friends in the BAI. I know they consult with you, they respect your opinion. But we can't figure out what they're trying to do. Kasi parang linggo-linggo, meron silang announcement na palala ng palala yung ASF. In fact, I wrote a column coming out tomorrow na pinaghihinalaan ko na sila. I am suspicious that they are creating a scenario, a state of emergency. At pag may state of emergency, mas mabilis lumalabas ang approval, mas mabilis lumalabas ang pera. What do you know? What's going on?
Yeah, concern lang natin no is yung mabagal ng action ng Bureau of Animal Industry dahil yung remember yung Cebu nag-announce lang sila March, di ba?
Mhm.
Pero on record pala November may positive na sa mga town dun sa Cebu. So November, December, January umabot na ng 5 to 6 municipality, no? So hindi nila pinalaman sa tao. Very concerning yan kasi yung color coding natin dun sa red zone, pagka may tinamaan, yung pink zone kung rehabilitate na, tapos yung yellow zone kung wala na nakita, pwedeng pumuntang green zone, yung hindi pa tinatamaan. So, yung chart ang gagamitin, nung November, December, wala pa sa red zone yung Cebu. So, yun ang malaking problema na protocol na ginagamit ng national government, na in which yung provincial government, yun din sinusundan. No? So, dapat ayusin yun. Secondly, of course, yung border control natin, yung first border up to now, hindi pa rin chinecheck yung frozen meat, no? So, kung hindi chinecheck yung frozen meat, alam natin 100 days positive pa rin dun sa talagang frozen na meat, no? So, pwede to. And kung binabantayan lang natin is yung itong live weight na every lalabas yung mga karne ng baboy dun sa mga piggery, tinatest ito. Pero yung mga frozen naman, hindi tinatest. Malaking problema talaga ito and hindi mahihinto yung spread. No?
Okay, pero may sinasabi ba sa'yo, Chairman, is there communication or message given to you what the strategy is? Kasi panay ang anunsyo nila na palala yung ASF, and you kind of wonder what's going on. Why are they pressing the panic button? Why are they being alarmist? But they're not offering any solution, protocol, or system of containment.
Yeah, yun ang isang dapat tingnan natin mabuti, no? Kaya gusto natin na patawag sa Senado ang BAE to explain everything, no? Kasi kagaya niyan yung case ng Pangasinan, wala naman new cases, pero sinasabi nila active pa rin yung ASF. So, dapat malaman natin kung saan nila kinukuha yung figure, no? Kasi sila ang nagtetest, no? Dapat malaman natin, wala namang kaling dun sa area. So, ito ba is 2020 pa na ito mga nilalabas nila na record is since 2020. Ano ba yung active talaga? Dapat malaman natin. And ano ba ang hindi na active. So, yun ang mga dapat.
So the BAI is not talking to you or not sharing information with your organization. Considering ang lawak ng inyong nasasakupan o ng mga iba't ibang samahan, isipin mo na dapat best friend kayo.
Yeah, yung communication, may communication, pero ang problema, yung nangyayari, hindi sinasabi yung totoo. Kagaya yung Cebu, di ba? November pa, March pa lang nila in-announce. And ngayon, yung record na dinalabas, ngayon pa lang nilabas, no? Yung zoning. So ang problema dyan is kung kung ganun ginagawa nila, paano yan? Between
Okay.
January to February, yung
What about yung reaction kahapon? Kasi yung tumawag sa akin, medyo regional authority yung tumawag sa akin kahapon at nagsabi sa akin, Kuyang, pagka ganyan ng ganyan, lumipat na lang tayo sa sabungan. Sabi ko, ano na naman nangyayari dyan? Ang taas nga ng presyo ng baboy. The prices of pork are high, but we producers are not benefiting. Walang pakinabang because binibili pa rin farm gate mababa, pero ang bentahan sa labas mataas, sobrang taas, wala ring bumibili. People won't buy high prices, they shift to other products. In the end, all the bombs fall on the hog raisers.
Yeah, Manong Cito, yun ang problema, no? Pagka bumababa yung presyo, hindi bumababa yung retail price, no? Pero sa ngayon, at least nag-improve konti yung presyo dito sa Luzon, from 185 pesos ang live weight, umakyat ng 200 pesos. Pero yung retail, dapat kung 200, nasa 300 pesos pa rin, no? Pero makita retail, umakyat na ng 330 to 360 yung liempo. So, mas mabilis talaga yung pag-akyat kaysa yung dapat na presyo na ayusin dun sa market.
Wala bang system, Chairman, where there is a national authority or a central, kumbaga parang sa stock exchange, may board sila, di ba? Merong mga kung ano, alam ko sa Amerika, sa Japan, and in other countries, there is a reference system kung ano ang presyo, farm gates ng iba-ibang produkto on a daily basis. Pati nga yung huli ng isda sa Japan, alam ko meron silang parang system din. Baga may bulungan pa rin, may auction, pero may reference point. Dito ba sa Pilipinas meron at pwede ba yun sa Pilipinas?
Yeah, dati may sinasabing plus 70 pesos, no? Yung farm gate, kung hinatay yun, tapos bibigay dun sa biyahero, pag-distribute sa Bituro, plus 70. Ngayon, kung tumaas man yung cost, sabihin natin, pwedeng plus 100, pero hindi walang meeting na nangyayari, no? Yun ang problema. Dapat mag-set ng meeting ang Bureau of Animal Industry. Tahimik sila eh. Ang iniisip nila is yung importation ang solusyon, no? kaya may duda tayo yung kung importation ang iniisip nila is may kumikita. Yun ang nakikita.
Ayun. Okay, hindi. Pati sila kumikita kasi kung may importation, meron silang services that is being availed by the importers and they charge fees. Hindi naman, not necessarily corruption, but pati lahat ng importation, di ba, dumadaan din sa BAI at sinisingil din nila.
Pero yung tariff hindi pupunta sa industry. Yun ang batas na ginagawa natin, hinihingi natin ngayon sa Senado at sa Kongreso. May final na bill, no? Na yung pondo ng tariff collection pupunta sa industry.
So, parang yung sa rice.
Parang sa rice, no? Para mapunta sa mga hog raiser and poultry raiser, livestock.
Okay, now, Chairman, so what about the vaccine? I wrote about the vaccine, mga concerns about the vaccine, and I got feedback from my friends in the industry. They said, there was already a field trial testing in 6 farms. The BAI supervised it, and the results were very good. There was no shedding, etc. And so I'm wondering, you know, maski na just for media release or public information to calm the nerves of hog raisers and give them hope, you would imagine that the BAI would at least share that that data or information, but they are not. What do you know about the vaccine?
Yeah, yung vaccine last year, yung linance ng DA was a failure, no? Last year, yung kay Secretary Dar, yung sabi nila, yung galing US, saka Thailand, and yung coordination with BAE, mukhang hindi nagkaroon ng magandang resulta, no? Yung nag-fail, no? And ngayon, may bagong trial from Vietnam, pero on trial pa rin, no? Alam naman natin itong ASF talagang mahirap since 1900 itong sakit na ito hindi nakakuha ng vaccine. So, sa tingin naman natin, hindi ganun kabilis talaga. So, ang kailangan talaga yung biosecurity. And yung biosecurity natin, kung yung pumapasok na imported, hindi natin itetest, talagang makakadating sa atin mga local producers, yung mga infection, no? Kung makita natin, hindi nila natigil kasi yung farm, tinest nila, paglabas, tinetest yan, pero yung imported, hindi tinetest. So, doon,
well, pero going back to the vaccine, Chairman, so sabi nila it is successful, at least on field trials, walang negative na reports. And I'm comparing it to COVID-19 vaccine. We had the same situation. We had to go through so many bureaucratic procedures, etc. Until one morning, President Duterte said, "Pwede ba bilis-bilisan yan at namamatay ang mga tao?" And so we now have compassionate use. Next thing you know, it was being rolled out, etc. Should the vaccine for ASF follow the same path as the COVID-19 vaccine? And if not, do you feel or naniniwala ka bang it will be the end of the hog racing industry?
Hindi. Ang tingin naman natin, hindi naman, no? Kasi may mga farm dito sa atin, maraming farm pa na dito sa atin bayan na strict ang biosecurity, nag-survive. Ibig sabihin, yung vaccine, inaasahan pa rin natin. Pero yung mga farm na yun, hindi naman nag-vaccine, di ba?
Yun yung mga large mega farms, yung kumbaga 100 heads ng mga inahen, 100 heads of sows, or 200 heads, yung iba nga 1,000 pa yata. So yun yung mga big times. But what I'm saying is 65% of all the pork produced in the Philippines used to be backyard raised. Now it's down to 50. Sabi sa akin, baka down to 45% na lang. Baka maubos naman lahat ng mga backyard hog raiser, puro na lang big time ang may babuyan.
Ang tingin ko nga, Cito, mga 30% na lang ang backyard. And ang tingin natin is kailangan talaga is yung malalaki ang mag-produce. Siguro yung backyard is alaga ng 5 buwan benta. Hindi na pwede kagaya doon na silang nag-aalaga ng inahin dahil nakita natin yung mga outbreak na yung immune system kasi kung manganak yung etong mga baboy, doon pumasok yung immune system nila. Doon tinatamaan yung inahin, no? So yung mga farm na sabihin natin yung tinamaan dati, bumalik, sinubukan, doon ang sinasabi nilang talagang critical point. Pag nanganak, yung inahin tinatamaan ulit, no? So at least kung partner, kung ibibigay yung mga alaga sa mga dating raiser, ito is 5 to 6 months, hindi ganun katindi yung outbreak dun sa mga lugar. So sa tingin natin, pwede yung mga backyard, ganun na lang ang mangyayari. Mag-alaga sila at ibenta agad.
Okay, I'm shocked. Sinabi mo down to 35 or 30% na lang ang backyard hog racing. Now, ano ang naging impact? What is the situation? Because aside from hog racers telling me they're thinking of shifting to poultry, game fowl, or other things, I also got reports that related industries are suffering major losses in the hundreds of millions because market demand for feeds, medicines, transport ay nagbagsakan. Ano ang situation? Because you are SINAG, I'm sure you have an idea.
Yeah, ang feed ingredient talagang tumaas, no? Wala tayong magawa rin dahil kung ibibili natin sa mga magsasaka ng mababang presyo, malulugi din naman sila. Like corn, na in which 50% ng ingredient ng feeds is from corn.
Yeah.
Dati, Cito, yung presyo is around 12 pesos per kilo lang. Ngayon is 23 pesos. So, doble yung presyo talaga. No? And of course, kung tumaas yung feeds, tumaas yung darak na lang. Dati, ang presyo ng dalak, 8 to 9 pesos. Ngayon, 21 pesos ang darak. No? So yun, talaga yung feed cost tumaas. So, mahihirapan talaga yung racer na kung konti lang ang ialaga mo, mahihirapan talaga. And kasi malaking tinaas. So, yung cost of production talagang tumaas.
Okay, so at the end of the day, ano ang what do you have to say to our Department of Agriculture or to the viewers? Because based on what you said, sa nadidinig ko sa'yo, klaro, hindi tayo nagkaroon ng massive planting of corn para medyo gumanda yung volume, hindi yung pinag-aawayan ng corn between human consumption and animal feeds, yung sa palay, etc. Anong closing remark mo, Chairman So?
Yeah, I think in direction ng ating presidente, dapat sundan ng mga bureau, no? Na in which ang direction ng gusto ng ating Pangulo is to have local production more. Na in which ngayon nakikita natin yung sa sibuyas, magandang direction yun kasi ang presyo hindi bumaba ng 55 pesos and kumikita yung magsasaka. Ngayon nasa 65 to 70 pesos ang market price. Yung sa bigas din, no? Ang presyo ngayon nasa 22.50 to 23. At least hindi lugi yung farmers. So, maiingan yun na magtanim, no? And yung subsidy na fertilizer na ibigay ng ating Pangulo is almost 4.5 billion. Nakarating sa ating mga magsasaka. So, yung direksyon ng ating Pangulo dapat sundan lang ng ating mga nasa agency na in which pro-local to produce more. And nakita naman natin yung importation ng bigas hindi nakatulong sa atin. Last few years, yung increase ng importation, hindi bumaba yung presyo ng bigas.
Okay, Chairman Rosendo So of SINAG, maraming salamat. As always, meron ka nabibigay na information and we can only pray, hope, and keep pushing para magkaroon na more volume of production and following the President's directions. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Yeah, maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.
Okay, that's Chairman Rosendo So, and I believe we will go for a break, and when we return, please stick with us because we are going to be speaking to our friend at the Bureau of Immigration dahil may mga nahuli o na-recover na mga Pilipinong namasyal ng alanganin. Okay, we'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. And next up, let's get an update from the Bureau of Immigration because, excuse me, I have been getting a number of messages on a Facebook chat or Facebook group where foreigners leaving the country applying for, I think, downgrading of their visas, etc., are told, leave your passport. They're just given a stub, and then they're told you'll get your passport back when you leave the country at the airport. So, yung mga kababayan nating married to foreigners are wondering if this is normal. And then, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, it came out in the news that 6 Filipinos who were reportedly victims of human trafficking and forced to work for syndicates in Laos returned to Manila on April 6, the Bureau of Immigration reported. And now the Bureau of Immigration wants to probe an airline worker or employee for assisting possible victims of human trafficking. Gab, please roll out the intro of our favorite person at the Bureau of Immigration.
Dana Sandoval is the spokesperson of Bureau of Immigration since 2018. She is also the Bureau's Deputy Chief for Administration. Sandoval also used to teach at the Philippine Immigration Academy.
Good morning, Miss Dana. Welcome back to the program. Mga kaibigan, hindi po guilty ng distracted driving si Dana. Pumul over siya. Sorry, I pulled you over again. Para akong highway patrol, ano?
Thank you. Good morning, Sir Cito. And of course, good morning to your viewers of your program, to the viewers of your program.
Okay, now, Dana, first things first. There were 6 Filipinos who were returned, whatever, from Laos, who were victims of human trafficking. What happened so that our friends and viewers will understand some of the scenarios?
Yes, these victims, 6 Filipinos po yun, were repatriated last April 6. So they were forced to work in a love scam company targeting Asians. They were initially recruited to work as call center agents, and they found the advertisement on Facebook kasi that's where most of these trafficking syndicates already operate. They try to lure their victims using social media, with good offers. They offer, I think the salary that they are offering is around $1,000 to $1,500. So it's really tempting for a young urban professional na, wow, it's a nice opportunity to work abroad. They would also offer free lodging, free food for call center work. But when they go there, in many cases, they usually end up being trafficked. And in this particular case, they were required to work under a pseudo call center that scams other Asian nationals to invest in a cryptocurrency scam. So one sad thing about this incident is they were also sold to different companies. They initially worked for one company, and they were sold to another company, and they were transferred finally to that third company where they were forced to work as scammers, and then they were also not paid properly. In other cases, we have recorded repatriates that were electrocuted, hurt, being beaten if they were unable to get their quota for their scam. So it's really worrisome already. It keeps on happening, and it's something that we keep on repeating in all interviews. We try to say it over and over again, but sadly it's still happening, and it really shows no sign of stopping.
Okay, now, are there local counterparts of those traffickers or those scammers na, kumbaga, hindi ba, for OFWs, merong mga recruiter na local. Because I have been dealing with some people last month, and there were agencies, etc. So parang sabi ko, okay, medyo safe yan. May agency, nakalist yung agency, so investigahin na lang natin. But with these scammers, ano ito, direct, parang on their own, the Filipinos left without a local recruiter?
There is a recruiter, Sir Cito, but they usually contact them via social media. So the initial contact is on Facebook or on Telegram, and then they send private messages for the details of the offer. Usually, it's also Filipino nationals, which is really disappointing kasi yung mismong kababayan natin are the ones duping our compatriots to this scam. And we also recorded one incident where a victim who was already abroad, I think that was in Myanmar, was required naman to recruit 3 others before she will be released. So parang pyramiding scam na rin siya, Sir Cito, wherein they are required to get other people before they can be free of their contract with the scamming company.
Wow. So was the BI or the Philippine authorities able to at least arrest someone in this situation? Is there a cooperation? Because last time I interviewed you, Dana, you were talking about people applying for a job in Thailand and then finding themselves being put on boats going to Myanmar, to Cambodia, to wherever, ewan ko kung saan, sorry, geographically, hindi ko maintindihan yung flow nila. But they were relocated across border. What happened here?
Sir Cito, the difficulty there for the Philippine government, particularly in Myanmar, because of the situation there, they have a coup d'etat there, so it's really hard it's really challenging siguro for the Philippine government to rescue victims there. But so far po, they have the DFA and the OWA were able to rescue a handful of victims. But from the reports that we have received, there are still a lot of victims in the Myanmar region. There are also victims in Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos. It seems like it might be one big syndicate that has different branches or locations in several Asian countries. That's why I think this really requires a whole of government approach in catching these recruiters, because for the immigration, we are only able to intercept the ones at the borders. But for those who are recruiting on social media or recruiting, going house to house for this scam, I think that's also one thing that the government has to focus on. And we are actually very thankful because there are social networking companies that have initiated contact with us to really evaluate how these scammers are recruiting Filipino nationals, for them to find ways to assist us in stopping this syndicate, at least at the level of the social media platforms, which would be really helpful if you are able to stop it at that area, and the people, the victims are informed immediately that oops, this is a scam. Don't join this company. I think it would really save many lives, and it would stop this syndicate from their massive operations.
Okay, Dana, from that report of 6 Filipinos being repatriated, let's now go to the latest pronouncement of the Bureau of Immigration and Commissioner Norman Tansinko, who has expressed a plan, or who announced they're planning to investigate an airline employee or worker, I'm assuming this person is at the check-in counter kasi doon lang naman yata ang contact ng mga airline employee with outgoing passengers who assisted in the exit of who would have been domestic worker for the United Arab Emirates. But good that the immigration agents were able to notice na peke yung stamp ng exit dun sa passport. What's the situation there?
Yes, Sir Cito, we were able to intercept this. Our officers were able to intercept this last week, and it's really surprising for airline employees to have the audacity to do this kind of human trafficking. What they did was they already had contact with the victim prior to check-in. So when the victim checked in, she handed her documents to the airline employee. The airline employee is not the one on the check-in counter, but he is a ground handler. So the victim gave her documents after check-in to the ground handler. And the ground handler returned it to her a few minutes after with a departure stamp already. And the airline employee was telling the victim to pass through immigration discreetly and show that she has been stamped already, pretending that she just went outside to buy something. She had, I think, 3 attempts to enter the immigration area. She was always being checked, so she would back out during inspection. But when finally she went, she tried to go inside, the immigration officer opened the passport and noticed the fake stamp in it. So she was intercepted, and we found out that there is at least one ground handler that might that has helped her secure these fake documents, and we see that there might be others who might be helping this ground handler. I won't be mentioning na lang
Yeah.
siguro.
Pag ground handler, so sabi mo, not a check-in counter, not necessarily check-in counter, but doon sa floor. Hindi naman siya sa baggage or anything, no? So ito yung mga runner-runner.
Yes. Yes
Okay.
po. Runner, or sometimes they are the ones who would call passengers who might be boarding already. So
Okay.
but the thing is, he's off duty. He's off duty, and he just had his pass. And then there were during the story there was someone else who was helping them, but it wasn't clear. So we turned them over to the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, so charges can be filed against this ground handler.
And of course, there are CCTV. So whoever communicated or engaged with them on cam will also be subject to investigation. Okay. Now, Dana, ito naman, website ito, well, actually, no, Facebook page of expats and Filipinos living abroad. I have to read it kasi alam mo naman ang Kuya Cito mo, medyo mahina sa memorya. Dear moms, we will move out from the Philippines today. We went to immigration to process our ECC after downgrading 9G visa. But immigration didn't give us our ECC, held our passports, and will only release them, ECC and passports, 3 hours before our departure. They just gave us one small paper with number to contact without transmittal paper or anything to claim our passports. I asked some friends who did 9G downgrade and ECC around a year ago, but none of them experienced this. Their process were hassle-free. Immigration also asked NBI clearance for my 8 and 11-year-old kids who are minors, downgrading 9G visa when others do not need it for adults. What is apparently this is not an isolated case, Dana. There is some policy behind it. There is a reason. Could you explain that to our viewers?
Mr. Cito, normally po if the order, the downgrading order has an order to leave, so the order to leave is normally if they have maximized their stay here already, or there are certain visa types that has order to leave that requires the subject to go out of the country after downgrading. Then this is required po. So the passport and the ECC is being held by our border control and intelligence unit, and they may be retrieved prior to check-in. So there will be employees of the BI who will assist them and make sure that they board their flight because of the order to leave in their downgrading. It usually comes with certain types of visas, or if you have maximized your stay here already.
Yung 9G, that's a what, a work visa? Sorry, I don't understand those 9Gs. Eh.
Yes, the 9G visa po is a working visa, but there are also other types of visas that may be used to work. There are visas issued by economic zones. There are other resident visas that can also be used to work. So it would depend on the type of visa where where order to leave is required upon downgrading. So once they downgrade their visas, they don't want to stay in the country anymore, or they have finished their contract already. With the downgrading comes the order to leave. So the procedure is our personnel will accompany them at the airport to make sure that they have fulfilled the order to leave as stated in their downgrade.
Okay, now, what about the NBI clearance for minors? Kasi parang sinabi mo doon sa kindergarten, previous experience.
Yes. Well, this is required, Sir Cito. I might be able to forward this to the Commissioner for review of the policy. Perhaps the management can review this policy given the feedback that we've been getting from the foreign countries.
Yeah, because this is quite a big group, and last year now there was no problems with the BI, but this year it is not really a problem but more of a puzzle. Because syempre, di ba, tayo as Filipinos, we tell Filipinos going abroad, never give your passport or surrender your passport to anyone unless you're at the border control. Pero dito parang iwan mo muna yung passport mo, bigyan ka ng kapirasong papel.
Sige po, we will be raising this din po with the management so they can review the procedure and perhaps make improvements, particularly in informing the passenger on the procedures so they know what to expect at the next step.
Okay, any announcements or last minute announcements you want to make? I know that there were no issues. Hopefully, fingers crossed, walang naging issue at the immigration counters, no complaints during the Holy Week, except na kinakantsawan kayo na post daw kayo ng post ng mga counters na walang tao.
Thankfully po, we had everything was smooth sailing during the Holy Week. There were no massive lines because we deployed a lot of immigration officers, and we have also added new immigration officers here. At least 36 new immigration officers were also deployed. So we're thankful for that. And siguro, we'd like to encourage everyone if they have they had good experiences with the Bureau of Immigration to also post this online so people can see that there are a lot of improvements already. We have our e-gates that have made things very fast, made things very convenient. So if we see that things are improving, then we highly encourage that netizens also post it so people can appreciate what's happening at the Bureau.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dana, and congratulations to the Bureau of Immigration, to Commissioner Tansinko, and to the entire team. God bless all of you. Have a great week.
God bless you too, sir, and good morning.
Okay, that's Dana Sandoval, the spokesperson of the Bureau of Immigration, and tama po yung sinabi ni Dana, if you had good experiences at the Bureau of Immigration, try to, while waiting at the lounge or wherever, just post a comment that, commending them for what they do. Because as I shared in my Facebook post yesterday, there are enough critics in the world. Be an encourager. Let's now go to the blessing for the week, which comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verses 18 and 19. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Thank you for joining us again today. Thank you, Lord, for giving us the rescue, in our in our scheduling, Lord. Thank you, and please keep it here on One News.